Welcome to Talk Tech with Rob Scott.
Welcome to Talk Tech with Rob Scott. I'm your host, Rob Scott, and on today's episode, we're talking to two very influential people in the IT nation from ConnectWise. I'm here on location right outside of the Pitch It contest, where a vendor is about to win $70,000 for winning the pitch contest that Mondra has been part of for the last 2 years. And we're going to have Sean Lardo on the show. Sean is the organizer of the Pitch It contest. We'll have him share his impressions of this year's contest. And then we're also going to have Arlin on from the Evolve, formerly ITG peer groups. And we're going to talk to him about what's going on with the Evolve IT Nation, including his new initiative, IT Grow. And we're excited to have you here today with Talk Tech with Rob Scott. Sean Lardo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Robert.
So, Sean, you guys don't know this, but we're here in Orlando at the IT Nation Connect. Sean just finished the coolest competition that you could ever imagine. The Pitch It competition just ended. Sean just sighed a huge sigh of relief. He's on his way to the bar. I'm so grateful he stopped by the show. Sean, tell us about this year's Pitch It contest.
Man, I'll tell you what. Each year that we've gone through this, you know, I took it over 3 years ago. This is my third year running it. Good. Legitimately speaking, because I actually, as you know me, I quantify things. I can't help myself. I'm a nerd. We've had 10x growth year over year on everything from partners engagement with all the vendors, to the amount of attendees we started coming into the building, to the amount of podcasting we've done. Literally, the audience has grown 10x.
That's awesome, man. I know I've been fortunate enough to be in Pitch It for my second year. Yep. And I always say this about Mondra. We didn't win, but you could put our growth, our financial performance, our traction, our customer satisfaction against any of those companies. And we would do very, very well. Absolutely. But that's not what it's all about. It's really about the incubator, the learning.
Absolutely.
So if a company's interested in selling a solution to the IT channel and becoming part of the IT Nation, is considering Pitch It, tell us a little bit about who Pitch It is a good fit for and what they can expect if they sign up for it.
Absolutely. So Pitch It really boils down to, we're looking for the best of the best vendor startups. They got to be able to support the MSP mission. They got to be able to do integrations with companies like ConnectWise, right? But as far as what they need to have internally, they got to be below $2 million annually a year. They couldn't have received any series funding, and they also have to be able to have clients already on the books. They have to have people that can show track records with. This is not a concept competition. This isn't like, hey, I have a great idea. No, we want to know they have legitimacy by having clients. But the fact of the matter is, we're welcoming them into this program that, as I mentioned, has grown 10x. There's a lot of awareness coming around. You've seen last year's finalists alone, the three of them combined add on over $3 million in annual revenue, right? And that's because we bring them into a system that is built, it is purpose-built for them to actually excel, to get the awareness, to get the training, whatever they need, and to be able to actually navigate this community space. So we're very selective who we bring in. I mean, we went through it with you. We see your application. You can apply. You can just Google it. IT Nation Pitch It. You'll find it. There's an application process right there. You fill it out. We go through a full discovery of you between your digital footprint. We look at your reviews. We do all that before we actually invite you to be part of the competition. And then, as you know, it's 16 weeks of work. After that, it's the education every week, which you have this year. We had more workshops than we did last year. With top-level coaches they are expert practitioners in the space that teach about what they actually do. There's not one person that I bring into the table that speaks from a hyperbole position. They are actually people that have done it and have been successful with it. So we're blessed. And 16 weeks leads up to your preliminaries. We take from 26 vendors, we take it down to 3.
Really exciting program. I remember the first year you took it over, I was in the audience.
You were.
And I wanted to be a part of it. Now I've finished my second year, and gratefully we are not eligible because we make too much money, which is a nice
congratulations.
Thank you. But I think most people think of the Pitch It as the contest, the $70,000 to the first place winner. $30,000 to the second place winner, and Uncle Marv's steak knife
Absolutely.
for the third place winner. But it really is so much more than just the contest.
It is.
It's really about that incubation, about that training, about networking with other vendors. We at Monger, we partnered with and had synergies with other Pitch It contestants. And so it's a great program. And if you're looking to launch or grow an existing product that's in that eligibility requirement, which is starting to add customers but not yet past 2 million in recurring, I think it's a great opportunity. So
Absolutely.
Now that the Pitch It contest is over,
Yes.
so what are your responsibilities for the rest of the IT Nation?
A lot of cat herding and babysitting. Doing what I always do, connecting the dots for people. People need to meet people. People need to understand about technologies. We do tonight have a bourbon and banter party sponsored by some of the people that sponsor this, right, from Pitch It. So we'll be doing that tonight. That goes on for a couple hours. And yeah, after that, I'm probably going to go see Flowrider and see what happens there.
Well, I'll definitely be there. The MSP Initiative is sponsoring an event tonight. Monger's one of the vendors that is sponsoring the MSP Initiative block party. And as Sean just mentioned, Flowrider is the live entertainment. I definitely will be there with my crew and look forward to seeing you there, Sean.
Absolutely.
So we just finished Pitch It. Every time you finish one, you're always looking to make next year's better, bigger, better, stronger. What's in store for Pitch It for 2025?
Whew, that's a good question. So we just, for the first time ever, accepted a sponsor that sponsored the actual Pitch It finals, which was Lion Guard this year. The hopes are for next year, we're going to look to negotiate a larger amount to be absorbed into the program. We're looking to raise the prize money.
Yes.
We're also looking to, this year we had six companies from overseas between APAC and EMEA. We're looking to try to hit the road and start getting out to those countries that they reported from Australia over to the UK to start to get them more entrenched with us and to work with them side by side, because the luxury we have over here, with it being a more mature market space for MSPs, there's a lot of shows. There's a lot of things you can do. And you know as well as I've seen you at a lot of shows. And if you're brand new coming to the market, to be able to have a friend that's been there, it helps you so much. So over there, we haven't had the luxury yet. So the goal is to start to get out there and start to show our ass and support them over there.
Well, shake your ass, Sean, and look forward to hanging out with you this week. And it's always
Absolutely,
a pleasure.
brother.
Thank you for being on the show.
Robert, thanks, man, for having me. You're the man.
All right, bud. Arlin, welcome to the show.
It's great to be with you today.
It's a pleasure to have you. For those who don't know Arlin, Arlin is a majorly huge figure in our industry. He is the founder of what's now the Evolve Peer Groups, one of the peer groups that I participate in at Evolve. We're in the service provider peer group. We've gotten so much out of it. But Arlin, what I want to hear from you is, what is the state of the Evolve communities and the IT Nation? I understand you guys are making some changes, and things have changed, of course, since you started all those years ago. But tell us what's new with Evolve.
Well, we're continuing to go deeper and deeper within organizations. So, we started out serving owners primarily, founder owners, and that was great. But as companies grew, they got management teams and leadership teams in place, and there was a disconnect between those layers. And so, we're adding more and more role-based groups to the program. So we've had service execs and sales execs, but now we've got COO groups, we've got security groups, we've got CFO groups, and we continue to go into the C-level suite and below, so that there's opportunity for owners to talk to those individuals and make sure they're still aligned. Alignment's a huge important thing, and as you know, it's busy, and so people don't necessarily talk to each other, but when they come to a peer group meeting and they have to report back, it's a great tool to help keep people aligned.
I agree. I think the peer groups are great, and I don't think all peer groups are created equally. And, of course, I'm partial to the Evolve community, but for those who might not know about the different peer groups that are available to them or why Evolve is different, can you explain how Evolve is unique among other peer groups that may be available in the industry?
Yeah, well, when we started the peer groups back in 2000, I had been part of another peer group, and it was completely business focused. And, one of the things that we decided was we didn't want to just focus on helping people make money. That's important. That's what pays the bills. But there's a lot more to life than just making money. So we created 4 pillars to our program. Business is key, but then we have leadership, life, and legacy. And I'm a believer that you start with legacy and define what that looks like. What is the end in mind? And as you move forward from there, then you figure out, how am I going to live my life? How am I going to lead the people around me? And how am I going to run my business? And we have 1-year plans for those 3 things on top of the long-term legacy plan that directs what we're going to do with our time, talent, and treasure.
That's great. I know for me, being in a rapidly growing company, we don't always have the time to do the type of life planning and legacy planning and the other things that you teach in the community, and I have found very valuable. Going forward into next year, what's new, what's happening at Evolve? What can we look forward to for next year in IT Nation and Evolve?
Well, we're adding a new level to our program. So we've had Evolve 1, which is really the online program for smaller partners. Evolve 2 is kind of our entry level into the program, and then Evolve 3 is our core quarterly program. Evolve 4 is coming to fruition in 2025, so that will be targeted completely at empire builder companies, so companies that want to grow fast, and a lot of private equity-backed companies in those groups. And we're going to be adding additional role-based peer groups in 2025 as well. So we're expanding the whole program, and we're having good success with that, and so we want to continue to just add value and help people succeed and achieve what their definition of success really is.
That's exciting. You mentioned the word empire builder. For those that aren't familiar with that terminology, it's part of the modes theory that's taught in Evolve. Take a minute, Arlin, and explain what modes theory is and how you're using it in the curriculum at Evolve.
Okay. Yeah, we did a lot of research about 4 years ago to really try to identify and create segments in the industry. And so we identified 4 key areas. Startup mode, which is where everybody begins. And, that's typically a smaller company, founder-led, founder carries it on his back, and over time will hire a few people. But at some point, they get to a point where they're able to really make some decisions about what they want to do when they grow up. And so the balance builder is the company where the founder owner wants to just put together the right employees with the right customers and still live life. They want to not invest all their time in business, but they want to be able to pour into their families. And a lot of folks that run balance builder companies are really doing well financially, but they're not creating a big nest egg for the future, right? So if you're a balance builder, you've got to save your money as you go, because you're not going to get a big sale price in the end. The value builder is the company that wants to go up and to the right. So they're playing the long game. They want to just continually, year over year, add value to their organization with the idea that when they're ready to exit the industry, they've got value they've created. Then you got the empire builders. They're the ones that want to go fast, go big, go home. They want to trade basically a period of their life, pour into the business, try to drive that up, and then have an exit strategy. So those are the 4 company types that we've identified, not just as MSPs, but in business in general. And so we've created a whole system of assessments to help people figure out where they are, where their teams are. That's in that area where we found disconnect, is that sometimes the owner wants to be a value builder, but his team wants to be balance builders. They want to be able to go home at 5 o'clock and not have to worry about answering the phone all evening until they come back to work the next day. And so there's a team assessment. We have an assessment for your clients. So you can sit down with the client and help them figure out where they are, because as an MSP, it's important to understand what your clients are trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And you can serve them far better if you know they're on a particular path. So we've got a lot of tools. They're all free. they're on the website, and we encourage people to take those assessments and learn about themselves and their clients.
And that assessment is available on the web at www.connectwise.com/modes. And if you want to learn more about the modes theory, as Arlin said, this is applicable to any type of business and has helped me be more reflective about where I am in terms of what I'm doing with my business. And so I appreciate you sharing that. Arlin, I know that you're wearing this Lego hat. My son Tanner is a huge Lego builder. I started teaching him Legos when he was very young. He's now since built, giant cruiser ships and Star Wars destroyers and all kinds of giant Legos. Has been an important part of our life. But tell us what the significance of your hat is.
Well, I would tell you that this is something I've done with my grandkids for years. So, they put in the labor, I put in the dollars, because they're not cheap. Buying those kits is pretty darn expensive, but they've put together dozens of kits sitting in my office while I was at work. So it's part of my legacy plan. But what I'm wearing the cap for now and why I'm the Lego man at the moment is IT Nation Grow, which is one of our newer events, is all about helping companies put the pieces together to create the transition they want in the future. And so I'm walking around with a Lego hat. I've got a Lego jacket I'll be pulling out. And I want to help raise awareness that, unless you think about the transition, everybody transitions. So nobody takes it with them. At some point, there will be a transition. And our industry doesn't do a really good job of creating value in organizations. And so I'm having a lot of very unhappy conversations with partners that are in their 50s and 60s saying, I'm ready to retire, but I can't sell my company for anything close to what I need to be able to do that. And so we want to train them on how to grow a company effectively, create value so that in the future, when they're ready, whether they sell it to someone else, whether they try to give it to their kids. I've had a couple of cases recently where parents thought they were building something to hand off to their kids, and their kids don't want it.
Yeah.
Because they aren't profitable enough to really support what the kids want to do. So you got to create value in your company and make it something that's transitionable. And our industry really needs to focus on that. So I'm going to be the voice for that and encourage people to really dive in, learn what matters, number one. What is value? There's about 10 or 12 areas where you can really create value, and then encourage people to do that, and when they're ready, to help them transition.
Well, that sounds really exciting, and I know that Monger is definitely on the same track with that. We have now over 500 MSPs on our platform. We think that 60% of them will have a transaction in the next 3 to 5 years, and we know for sure that many are not ready. And so our Deal Room product allows MSPs and other companies to start planning and documenting and building out that virtual data room that will become the basis of due diligence, and to do that slowly as they're growing. And so we're definitely interested in working with you with that Grow program so that we can make the Monger Deal Room available to those MSPs that are looking to find that perfect exit down the road. Arlin, what is it? I know that one of your big things that I love so much about the Evolve community is it's not just about work. It's about faith. It's about people. It's about serving. It's about being that go-giver. What are you excited about, not work-related, that's coming up for you and take the rest of this year and into next year?
Well, I'm kind of in a transition mode right now. I'm 68 years old, almost 69, and so I'm working with ConnectWise to figure out what my kind of ramp down is going to be.
Yeah.
My wife and I have already decided she doesn't need me full time, so I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to retire per se, but I do want to slow down, have some freedom to do some things, and ConnectWise has been very good to us about that. I love to facilitate. I love working with partners and helping them, first of all, identify what their legacy is that they want to work toward, and then write the plans and execute the plans. And really the power of peer groups is the accountability to actually execute what you write down. So, I'm going to continue to do those kind of things, and IT Nation grows. My big thing right now is I want to help this industry be successful. And I hate those calls where partners say, I can't find anybody that'll pay me anything for my business. And when I look at their financials, I understand why. It's put food on their table for their family for years, but they haven't created any value. And the disconnect is hard work does not equal value. The story is always, I worked 12 hours a day for the last 25 years. I skipped birthdays. I missed ball games. I didn't do holidays. That doesn't bring any value to anybody else, And so you've got to learn what value is, and you've got to learn how to create it, and then you've got to be disciplined. And 3 to 5 years is what it takes to really make a dent in that. And far too often, partners are calling me saying, I'm tired of this. I'm ready to be out. I want to sell in a few months. It's like, that's not going to go well for you.
Well, that's great. I'm excited to see how that goes, given everything else that you've done in your career. I'm sure it'll be wildly successful. If a business owner or the CEO of a vendor organization in this community wanted to learn more about getting involved with the Evolve community, what would the next steps be for either an MSP or a service provider vendor that is interested in learning more about Evolve? How would they go about learning that?
Yeah, well, they can surely reach out to me or anybody on the Evolve team. Our website, connectwise.com/evolve, has got information and a place that they can apply and get connected. We've got lots of people that are behind this program and helping make it work. Jody Hicks is our salesperson for the program. JD Hicks at connectwise.com. So there's lots of ways to get connected, but we're on a mission to help people be successful, and that's what we do. And we've got Bob Berg with us this week, who was co-author of The Go-Giver. That's our culture book, and our members in the program have adopted that. They understand the power. If I come to a meeting focused on helping you be successful, it'll come back to me many times over, and we see that over and over and over again through the Evolve program.
And one of the principles that sticks with me the most from that book and from the culture is that your income is a function of the number of people you serve and how well you serve them. And as soon as you transition your mindset away from transactions and money to helping people, you'd be astounded at how the money part of it just takes care of itself. So yeah. I was privileged enough to be at Evolve when Bob Berg gave his keynote this week, and looking forward to his keynote at the IT Nation. But Arlin, the Lego man, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, it's great to be with you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Talk Tech with Rob Scott. Brought to you by Monger. Monger is the first mover in providing contracts as a service solutions specifically designed for IT managed service providers. Their SaaS-enabled legal solution is based on industry-leading templates, customized for each client, and periodically updated to ensure that MSPs always have the latest protections and are legally compliant. For more information, visit monger.com. That's MONJUR.com.